with another host, and now I'm back again. Oops. Yeah. So, sorry for the delay. I had some few technical difficulties that I was dealing with, but there's a lot of things I want to talk about today, and hopefully that you'll enjoy what I have to say today. First off, I'd like to say welcome back from spring break, everyone. I know I'm sure everyone had fun going somewhere else or doing nothing at all. I know I was busy doing a lot of stuff over the spring break. Nothing really too exciting though. I do have to say though, I have a lot of cool news stuff going on for for the show today. I might talk about some sports. I really want to get into video gaming right now. Well, I mean for the show, because I know last time I wanted to talk about it, but we had a guest, Corey Michaels. 'Cause he was in here had his little interview and promoting himself, and that was practically my second show. So, in my first show, I mostly talked about sports because that was kind of what I had going on, was a lot of sports talk. But I found some really good stuff today for video games and entertainment, and there's a few other sports things trickled in there. But that's pretty much the show for the start, to let you all work yourself into it. So first off, I have my first thing I want to talk about was that I learned that last June the World Health Organization reigned on the post E3, and the E3 is coming up pretty soon. It comes in every year around June. So after last year's E3, the World Health Organization was proposing to treat compulsive video game playing as an addiction and is subject to treatment as a medical disorder. I kind of find that fascinating because, in a way, I actually see how video games can be an addiction, and at the same time, I myself feel like I fall in that trap, and there's times when you're really playing a game, you really enjoy it, and you're going into it, and you're like, oh, I just gotta do this next level, or I want to get to the next boss, something like that, and you can get sucked into it. But for finding it as an addiction, I don't know. It seems kind of crazy to think that video games could be like addiction, like a drug addiction, because most people see that like drug addiction as a bad thing, and it's something that a lot of people need help with. But with video games, you never think about it that way, because a lot of times video games are a way to escape from reality, or try to relax from doing all the stuff you did or going through during the day, or heck, through weeks or months or whatever. But I mean, I've also seen it where it is kind of seems like a drug addiction, because I've heard stories where a boyfriend dumped his girlfriend just so he could play Call of Duty. Think about that. A boyfriend dumped his girlfriend so he can play Call of Duty. Like I have almost all the Call of Duty games myself, and after a while playing those games, I get like burnt out, because it's real fast action, you shooting and all this stuff. And I gotta take a break from it sometimes. But some of these people who take video games very seriously, like as a career thing, they can be pretty crazy about that. So, but yeah, and I've even seen it in younger generations too, when you have nothing to do and you just want to play video games. But for me, I would love to sit down and play video games for hours, but I just could not. I just don't have the time, taking care of family and finances and job and work and all that stuff. It can be really daunting. Something else I also found interesting about video games was that Google plans to push into the video game industry. So that's just going to probably add to that video game addiction, because, everyone has a game on their phone. So, that's what we do most of the time, sit around, play games on our phones, or even social media. So the fact that Google's getting in on this obviously tells me that the video game industry is not going to go away, even though some people were thinking that, with smartphones to video game consoles are going to eventually die out. But I mean, you still have hardcore gamers. Me personally, I like sitting in front of the TV and playing video games. I'm not really much of a phone gamer or even a 3DS player, because usually when I don't really have much time to play on the go, I'm usually on the go going doing stuff. So there's that. But getting back to my thing about Google, it's not really trying to get into like the console wars per se, is what Google's coming out with. Instead, Google plans to just start a streaming service for video games, kind of like what Xbox is kind of doing with their Game Pass right now. And it's a really cool feature. I mean, you play a monthly subscription, you can download all the games you want. When you're done, you just delete them and download more games. Which, for Microsoft to jump on that first is pretty cool, because with the Xbox, they were always going slow behind PlayStation, and Nintendo's even slower than Xbox when it comes to the online stuff. But with Google, with that, like they even beta tested it with Assassin's Creed Odyssey with a window browser. So, I mean, it's possible to play one of those AAA games on through a streaming service. It's just whether or not your internet can take it, because I guarantee you running at like, I don't know, less than 50 megabytes per second, and you're not gonna do so well. So, and the thing is, that's what Google is with their thing, is that they're basically streaming games. But for the people who don't have computers, they're actually talking about making a box that you can plug into your TV, and that way that'll let you stream the games to your TV, and then you can play them off your TV, which like I said earlier, personally, I like playing off the TV because it's a bigger screen. It's easier to see stuff and do more things. And of course, unless you're a real gamer, PC gamer, where you have a big monitor in front of you and you just, go at it and have fun. Of course, with them, they say that more news about this is supposed to come out in March, but March is almost over, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, that's kind of cool, though, that Google actually is kind of getting into the gaming, I guess, services, as I like to call it. But speaking of playing games, I have a 6-year-old son who likes to play games, and this probably goes right back to the whole addiction thing, how every day all my son wants to do is play video games with me, and I even really don't have time to play video games all day, like I said before. And his favorite game is Minecraft, and me personally, I hate Minecraft because there's nothing to do in Minecraft. And I actually saw someone in one of my other classes today playing Minecraft on his laptop, and all I could think of was, oh my god, how can you play this game? There's nothing to do in it. All you do is build stuff, and after that, there's like no missions, no nothing, and that just drives me crazy. But hey, I mean, everyone has a game that they like. Me personally, I'm really big a man guy, because I like to manage teams and run them the way I want to run them. I mean, heck, I've always picked the Browns because I'm a Cleveland fan all the way through, and I pretty much run that team better than any other Browns GM has ever did, except John Dorsey, who really just pulled off some really cool stuff. But I might get into that later. But yeah, as I was saying though, Minecraft, it's like that. You wouldn't think that would be a very popular game, but then when you see how it's done, they just pretty much. I found out that the reason why kids like it so much is because they have full control over everything, and I mean, for kids, that's our biggest thing, is having control over something, because we really don't have control over anything when we're kids. We're just fighting through, trying to get through stuff, and everyone's telling you what not to do and what you should do and all those other things. So yeah, I can see the appeal for Minecraft, but it's just not my cup of tea. Also, about video games that I like to talk about is video games turn into movies. Because, every video game ever made into a movie sucks. But, although, for some reason, I don't know how Resident Evil got 6 movies. Because, I mean, after the first two, I was kind of like, okay, that's cool. I was not expecting like four more, and I've yet to see the last two. I think it is. Yeah, I've only seen the first four. It's on my list of things I want to watch, along with all the Avenger movies that I missed. But yeah, it was funny when I saw an article on like why video game movies do so bad, and you think, why would they do so bad when you have a whole video game to go off of and the content and whatnot, and you can, it's like, it's not that hard to recreate the story from a video game into a movie, but then you realize you can't, like for a video game that you can play for 10 hours, you got to shrink that down into 2 hours, which, let's just face it, like that, for some people that's cutting out a lot of stuff that, you know, gamers would enjoy. You know, but it just reminds me, going back to the Super Mario movie, how bad it was, because that movie was nowhere near the original Super Mario video games or any of the Mario games, and it's a cult classic, but it's still like one of the worst video games ever made. So, and then there's another movie I refused to see, the Assassin's Creed movie, basically because the machine they used to hook the main characters into is ridiculous. I mean, in the video game, the guy's just, you know, he lays on a like a doctor's chair or something like that, you know, and then and you just plug him in, you know. But with the whole machine thing where they're flying around and jumping around, and I saw that in the trailer, and that just turned me off as a gamer. I was like, no, I'm not gonna watch this movie. It just looks ridiculous, and that's kind of I mean, you see that with movies all the time, where it's like you watch it and you're like, oh, that'd be great, you know, in the trailer and stuff, and then you see one thing in the trailer that you don't like, and you're like, well, I'm not gonna go see that movie. Screw it. Kind of like the new Aladdin movie that's coming out with Disney, and I saw the trailer for it. It looks good, I have to say. The cast, I think they did a good job picking up the cast, except for the Jafar character and the genie character. Those two are not really what I would have pictured as, I don't know, characters from the animation, because the actors the actor for Jafar in the trailer, he looks really, I don't know, he doesn't look sinister, he doesn't sound sinister either. He's not like crafty or anything. He just sounds like a normal dude. So that's my one pet peeve. And then the biggest pet peeve I have is the fact that Will Smith is playing Genie. Let that sink in for a little bit. Will Smith is playing the Genie. Like, I know he can sing, but I didn't think that that would be my first choice as Genie. I would actually would have picked someone, I don't know, more comical. Because, I mean, that's what the Genie was. The Genie was a comic kind of relief to me from the animation. And Robert Williams did a fantastic job voicing it. So, you know, rest in peace, Mr. Williams, because you're my favorite. But, yeah, like, that's another thing, too, is, like, trying to find people to replace characters in video games and, like, remakes and stuff like that. Because you remember this character so well. And once you have it in your mind, like, this is who I think should play it, and then they don't cast that person for that role, you feel kind of like they dropped the ball on that, you know? Like for, I'm trying to think, Nathan Drake in the Uncharted series, the actor, trying to remember his name, he's from the, Nathan, I think it is, I don't know. Either way, there's an actor out there. I'm drawing a blank on his name, but the picture I can picture his face, and he would play great for Drake's character, but he's too old now, and they don't see him playing that role. So it's like they kind of missed the boat on that one. And going back to the whole like video games into movies thing, it really is like, I think they really need to think more about who they're going to cast and who's going to direct it, because I feel like a lot of these studios just jump on these things trying to cash in real quick, and don't take these things real seriously. And then you see it in the product and the end result that, movies don't do well or at the box office, and maybe the DVD sales aren't as good as they were hoping for. But as like diehard fans of games and stuff, I'm sure people will still buy that stuff. I mean, heck, I bought the first 4 Resident Evil movies, and because I'm a big Resident Evil fan, and yeah, so it does take it's really hit or miss with some of these movies, and a lot of times it's a miss, and it's sad to say that, but it is what it is. All right, I'm gonna take a little break, and when we come back, we're gonna talk about some more gaming stuff.
Callan needed a car loan, and she turned to Cardinal Credit Union.
Well, I came to Cardinal and talked to Dietrich about getting a car loan, and he explained everything about the financing step by step, so I understood it.
Being a member of the credit union already, Callan knew that we offered the lowest rates possible.
What I like best about Cardinal is the money that I saved and the money that I'm going to save.
What she said.
For new or used auto loans, it's easy. Just call Cardinal at 440-266-2200. Stop in a branch or apply online at cardinalcu.com. Cardinal President Christine Blake.
Listening to your story, saving you money, anyone can join. Cardinal. People helping people.
Cardinal is open to anyone who lives, works, worships, or attends school in Lake Cuyahoga, Geauga, Ashtabula, Portage, Summit, Mahoning, Trumbull, or Columbiana counties. This institution is not federally insured. Deposits are insured by American Share Insurance up to $250,000 per account. Loans subject to credit approval. Cardinal Credit Union. People helping people. Callan needed a car loan, and she turned to Cardinal Credit Union.
Well, I came to Cardinal and talked to Dietrich about getting a car loan, and he explained everything about the financing step by step, so I understood it.
Being a member of the credit union already, Callan knew that we offered the lowest rates possible.
What I like best about Cardinal is the money that I saved and the money that I'm going to save.
What she said.
For new or used auto loans, it's easy. Just call Cardinal at 440-266-2200. Stop in a branch or apply online at cardinalcu.com. Cardinal President Christine Blake.
Listening to your story, saving you money, anyone can join. Cardinal. People helping people.
Cardinal is open to anyone who lives, works, worships, or attends school in Lake Cuyahoga, Geauga, Ashtabula, Portage, Summit, Mahoning, Trumbull, or Columbiana counties. This institution is not federally insured. Deposits are insured by American Share Insurance up to $250,000 per account. Loans subject to credit approval. Cardinal Credit Union. People helping people.
Are you a single mom? If you are, there's a program called SMART, or Single Mothers Achieving Real Triumph. SMART is a support, networking, and scholarship program which helps single mothers achieve academic success. The requirements: you must participate and be a new student either in your first or second semester in college, have demonstrated financial need, or attend colleges on Tuesdays and Thursdays, at least 6 credits, and you must be available to attend workshops. Students must be enrolled in English 0111 or English 1111 to participate. This is an on-campus daytime program, and some of the program benefits are: you can gain access to resources which are available to students that you might not otherwise know about, acquire skills to help you interact effectively with instructors and college personnel, and meet weekly for support and networking. If you're interested in this program, give a call to the Women's Center at Lakeland Community College at 440-525-7322 or email vwilliams@lakelandcc.edu.
Employer on-campus events are a great chance to speak with the company's recruiter about current job opportunities, obtain occupational information to practice networking skills. When an employer comes to campus, they are looking for Lakeland students to fill positions, which means take advantage of their attention. It's the local music spotlight here on Lake Effect Radio. Something involving a monkey? Aye.
right, welcome back to the Lake Effect Radio Show at Lakeland. I am your host, GT, and this is the GT Show. And we just hop right back into our video game topic today. Because, I mean, like I said before, I want to talk about video games, and I didn't get to for the last two shows, actually. But this time around, we're going to get to more video game talk, because I know everyone out there, or most of you out there, are probably gamers like me. And something I always thought was kind of interesting was with video games is video game repairs. Now, you notice how you like have to like take it into Microsoft or Sony and, you know, Nintendo and have them fix stuff. And I, for one, wouldn't. I actually have done my own repairs on some of my own consoles and stuff because it was a lot cheaper. And I mean, heck, it was quicker for me to just do it myself than send it and hopefully it comes back and whatnot. Because I remember one time my original Xbox, no wait, it was Xbox 360. That's right. It got the Red Ring of Death, and when it died on me, I had to send it back, and it was it was pre-owned, so it wasn't like so I didn't buy it new, and so I had to pay for the repair cost, which at the time was like, it was like $60, something like that. But yeah, I did that, and when I got it back and everything was working fine, it was great. So, and I still have that one hooked up to my TV in my bedroom because, you know, I like to play some of the older consoles. Although most of the backwards games are coming towards the Xbox One, so pretty soon I might just not have any need for it, which is kind of sad because I spent a lot of time on that console. I mean, that thing ran, that console generation ran for about, I want to say about 12 years, which is double what normally what consoles do, which is usually 5. So, which tells you that there was a good generation for video game consoles, especially for the Microsoft 360, because the Sony PlayStation 3 really kind of like shot itself in the foot with that starting price of like $600. Of course, I loved how in their press conference at their E3 that year was like, it's a gaming computer, not a gaming console. And it was kind of like, well, yeah, that was bad marketing on them. And then, of course, that all changed when Xbox One came out. That was bad marketing on Microsoft's point. And Sony learned their lesson, and, you know, Sony came around and fixed that problem with their PlayStation 4, which clearly outsold all the other consoles. And I know PlayStation 2 still is on the top of that list of the most sold consoles ever. But anyways, as I was saying, video game repairs. I really think that, I mean, I've seen them on eBay. I've seen them on other web pages and stuff like that where you can actually send it to someone and they can fix it for you for less than what Microsoft or Sony would. But, I mean, I've done my own repairs where I actually replaced 2 Xbox original, what do you call it, disk drive issues, I guess you could say. Because the disk drive, and if everyone knows this, with the original Xbox, it would get stuck, and then you couldn't open it. And a lot of people just got rid of them, threw them out, and it was like, it was perfectly fine. It's like a good console and everything, and nothing was really wrong with it except for the disk drive wouldn't open. And I did some research and found out that the reason why that happens is because what they used, and this is an old console, so they used like these like rubber, I want to say rubber bands to drive the motor that releases the Xbox's DVD drive, lets you comes in and out. And what I did was I actually found some guy on eBay who actually sold those parts, and I purchased, I think it's like 2 bands for, I think it was like $6, so it was real cheap. And I was able, and I looked online, you know, YouTube, you know, you just look on YouTube and it shows you how to take it apart, and that's what I did. I took it off. I pretty much took out the disk drive, took the disk drive apart, replaced the bands in it, and popped it all back together again, and it worked great. It was fine. It was awesome. I was like, this is cool, because I just basically brought a broken console back to life, and it just took me a day to do it. So, and that's why I was always wondering, like, why don't we have more of that? You know, like more repair places to go to get things fixed. And it really comes down to the fact that no one wants to do that anymore. A lot of people just want to, like, oh, it broke, I'll just throw it out and buy a new one, because it's easier for me to do that than having to, you know, wait for someone to fix it, tell me how much it is to have it fixed, and blah blah blah, when you know you could buy a brand new one for a little bit more or the same price as if it was to get fixed. And I have to say, like, the only thing I had a problem with one of my console repairs was actually the 3DS. I had the original 3DS, and well, it's a long story, but originally I bought this one because it had a broken screen on it. It was at a discount price for like $30, and the replacement screen was like $10 on eBay. So I bought that, and so in all, I bought like a used console for, say, $40, which if I wanted to get a pre-owned console or 3DS, the cheapest I could find was $60 on eBay. So I kind of saved myself $20 if I just did it myself and fixed it. And I actually, when I went online and did the whole YouTube thing and all that stuff, I found that it was really difficult to replace that top screen on a 3DS model, especially because, you know, 3DS has that folding feature where it closes and opens. And when I repaired the 3DS screen, I really had a hard time trying to feed the ribbons which connects the screen to the motherboard, I guess you could say. Excuse me. And it was a real pain in the butt, and that probably took me longer to repair than my Xbox original console. And when I got done with that, I was like, I'm never doing this again. And that kind of, I see why that's another reason why people just toss things away instead of getting it fixed or doing it themselves, because of the heartache and the issue. And if you break, like, I was afraid I was going to break the ribbon on the new screen, because if I did that, I was going to be like, oh crap, I was going to have to buy another one, and I would really be screwed. So, you know, it's just some of the things that you have to work with. And I know for a fact that, like, if I actually thought about buying another one that was broken and fixing the screen, because I saw what was the new 3DS. I actually want to get one of those because it's supposed to be, or what do you say, the new 2DS would probably be even better. But it's just the graphics are supposed to be better, the battery life is supposed to be better, you know, all these better features. And I was looking online again on eBay, and I found one with a broken screen, and I was like, I might just buy that and fix the screen, even though I just, you know, had a headache with the original 3DS's screen, you know. So it's kind of like, I don't know, I really like working on things and fixing things myself, because that's, to me, like, it's a lot easier to me to learn new things and do it myself than have someone else fix it. Although I will say I did have problems with my Mac, because it was an old Mac, and I couldn't figure. I had to. Well, here's the story about that. I had this Mac from my last university I was, and that was a way long time ago. And the thing was, when the motherboard went on this thing at the time, to replace the motherboard would cost me $2,000. And I was like, well, shoot, I could get a whole new computer for $2,000. And the guy at the repair shop's like, yeah, you could. And I was like, you know what, I'll just hold on to it and wait for the price to drop in the motherboard. And eventually the price did drop. And I actually had, although I had to wait, like, what do you say, about 10 years? Yeah, I think I had to wait 10 years almost for the price to actually drop to something to where I can afford it. And I actually bought the new a used motherboard, but came out of a working console or PC, Mac, whatever. And it cost me only like $60 for it. And I was like, this is going to be cool. And then I actually had someone that I knew put the motherboard in for me, put a new hard drive in it that's upgraded from, I think the original was like 128. Now I bumped it up to 1 terabyte. So it was like, and then I then I installed new RAM in it myself, because it was real easy to install it myself. So I did that. And then came the issue that it wouldn't power on. And my tech guy I go to, he didn't know what was wrong with it, because he mostly deals with PCs. So Macs weren't really his specialty. And I didn't know anything much about Macs either. So I took it to Micro Center and had them look at it. And in the end, I actually got a free kind of like service to look at it, because I had some original operating software that I wanted to put on it, and they put it on for me. Because usually if you wanted to upgrade or something like that, they'll charge you for the upgrade software and repairs and stuff like that. But like, I had everything there, so all I just needed them to do was put it together, put the operating system on there, and sure enough, they gave me free charge service because, you know, good publicity is always good. And then of course, when we were there and we plugged it in to see if it would work, it actually worked. And I was surprised because I was like, well, my tech guy told me it wasn't working. So, and then I did some more research and I found out the battery was pretty much kind of messed up. So I got a new battery for it. And now I have a perfectly working MacBook Pro, which is pretty cool because I really want to I've used it for our other software editing stuff. And I can't wait to use it again because Macs I believe are the best thing when it comes to editing software and, you know, photos and stuff like that. Although PC is definitely making a good push at replacing Macs, considering that Mac is getting crazy with their Mac things. So, but anyways, that's my little story about how, you know, if you could fix it yourself, I recommend it because it'll save you a lot of money in the long run. And if you really are afraid to do it, then find someone who can do it for you. And if you can't find someone, then yeah, you might have to just wait it out, kind of like I did. So, but yeah, I definitely recommend getting your own repairs done, and if you can. Oh, and another thing I was just reminds me about playing video games with my son. He's my wife also is a real big fan of Pokemon, and now my son is too. Yay, Pokemon. But anyways, he was actually playing the new Pokemon Eevee Go game, and he really, because Eevee is his favorite character, and it's funny because like I feel like Eevee Pikachu and Eevee Go for the Switch was really like a test run to see how people and fans would react to a real Pokemon RPG game on a console, like a home console kind of thing. And it did so well that I think that I don't see them moving the Pokemon to a handheld. Well, technically the Switch is a part handheld, but I don't see them using the handheld device anymore. Not only that though, but the Game Freaks, I think they're called, the publishers for Pokemon, stated that, you know, Pokemon Sun and Moon Ultra were their last Pokemon games, officially their last Pokemon games on the handheld 3DS. So, and within that, they actually came out with news stating that the next core Pokemon game is coming this fall, and it's called Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. This will be the first core Pokemon game to not be made on the 3DS, and it will only be on the Switch. So you could say this is the Pokemon RPG game that we all wanted for like forever, that I think everybody wanted, even though the handheld devices were considered RPGs, but everyone really wanted that, like, how do you describe it, like that open world feel kind of thing, where you can do things kind of like in all those other RPG games that we all play on like the home consoles. So, yeah, I just hope that they get rid of the whole Pokemon throwing ball thing, because on the Pokemon Eevee Go and Pikachu Go, I always had an issue with trying to get the ball to go the right way with that whole like the sensor or whatever thing, and I just felt more comfortable just pressing a button. So I'm hoping they get rid of that and they tweak some other things. I will say though that the hardest thing I'm going to have to deal with is probably learning all these new characters, because they really have running out of characters. I have lost track of how many they're up to, and like even when me and my family sit down and watch other Pokemon movies, shows, and play other games and stuff like that, or like even with the Pokemon Go, we're like, hey, who's this? I don't remember this character. But yeah, it's fun, it's enjoyable, and I can't wait to see what they do with this new Sword and Shield. I mean, who knows? Maybe although I did see that there were like main characters for this, and they kind of looked like they were rehashed from like an older game or something like that. Because I think one looks like a snail, the other one looks like a monkey of some kind. But anyway, either way, they got a whole new starter characters and whatnot, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with this new Pokemon game that's coming to the Switch. So, well, that's pretty much all I have time for this show, or for today anyways. Hopefully next time we get to talk more about some more video game stuff and maybe touch on some sports. Who knows? I do say, though, I'm really excited to see what comes out come E3, which is right around the corner. So, yep. That's pretty much it. So thanks you for listening, and I'm your host, GT, and this is the GT Show on the Lake Effect radio station.
I can honestly understand why it's over. I can go through the motions of walking away. I can give you the key and take my things back. I can find plenty of things to fill my days, but I don't know how not to think about you when it's late at night and quiet. And I know that I ought to be the one who is strong and just moves on, but I probably turn down your road, knock on your door, fall back in your arms, wake up in the morning, hating myself in the way that I can't help the way I still want you. I just don't know how not to, how not to, how not to. I just don't know how not to, how not to, how not to. You're like second nature, baby, you're just like breathing. Melody that you hear and you can't forget.